Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, and WWE issue number 13. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not a big fan of taking food out of another man's mouth. So when I found out that the Royal Rumble magazine, the comic book, wasn't going to be done by Dennis Hopeless, they're going to switch up artists and all this stuff, I was a little bothered by that. But I figured, it's a special issue. Now issue number 13 comes out, and it's a very similar deal. They got a couple of the wrestlers themselves doing their things and whatever. And that's all well and good and nice and cute. And you can do a backup story. They always got backup stories, way in the back of the comic anyway. You could have one of the wrestlers do that and a guest artist do that if you want. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this. That being said, this was pretty good. You got, they come up and they say to some of these wrestlers, hey, you want to write a cool story, about yourself? Who can't write a good story about themselves? So Samoa Joe's over here, and he writes a story about how the reason why he didn't come to Raw so quickly is because he threatened Mick Foley last year or year before, whatever, while he was having dinner with Triple H. So Triple H had said, listen, I'm going to sweeten the pot for you if you stay here. That's pretty much all that was, and he threatens to destroy everybody, and Mick Foley's like, oh my God, okay, fine, you don't have to come to Raw. He's going to bring him in against his will, draft him, a forced draft. There you go. So that was avoided. And then they have a little thing about the Yes Movement. I don't need to see a comic book about the Yes Movement. It's not even about Daniel Bryan wrestling. It's just the Yes Movement. He's just throwing his fingers up in the air. Come on, man. What they did have that I did like was Unbroken. Now, that was a really good story, but we already know the story, I think. This was one of the greatest stories, in my opinion, in wrestling back in the day. What they had was Jeff Hardy, and the charismatic Enigma. He's out there, and he's going up against the Undertaker. And they get into a back and forth, but Undertaker's just a brute, and he just completely, brutalizes him. He tears him apart as he's leaving. This is back when he's the Red Devil, And Jeff Hardy gets on the mic and he's like, "You ain't broken me, all right? Just so you know, you didn't break me." So Undertaker comes all the way back in the ring, and Jeff's just laying there like, "Oh darn it, what am I gonna do now?" And Undertaker just, he gives him his hand. He's like, "Get up." And he's like, "You did a good job, kid. I'll see you when you're ready." And raises his hand up. And that was back when, Undertaker was just being a total bully. And this was, that was a great storyline. All I'm doing here is I'm just reading that again, instead of watching it back when it happened. I'm just reading about it now. It's a good memory. This actually did happen back in the day if you missed that episode of Raw. But, that was back when the storytelling was phenomenal. Anyway, yeah, the Phenom, right? So anyway, it was good. And then there's a Chris Jericho thing. The stories here were okay. They were fine, but there was an actual story being told back in the day. And now that just doesn't seem to be the case. And I'm not particularly pleased with that. I'm going to give this comic book a C. As in, I'll see you next month. I'll see what you're about to do, and hopefully our original team is coming back, honestly, because that's what I'd been watching. And yeah, I don't feel the need to read 4 short stories anymore. If you're not going to have my actual writing and art team back, you lost me as a customer. Done and done. All right, guys, that's it for me. Professor Bell, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.